Mr. Hargrave here from Parts Unknown to give you my thoughts on All Out 2024. That'll be the main thing we're doing in this live stream, in this pre-recording that you're watching. So let's get right into it. Let's not mess around. Let's bring you my thoughts on All Out 2024. Now, spoilers right off the top. I did not think that this show was better than All In, and I think that that is kind of a annual problem that we have, is that All In is so damn good that All Out always kind of pales in comparison, in my opinion, and I think a lot of other people have stressed that as well, that having these pay-per-views so close to each other, it makes it very hard on the second one, All Out. You got 1 week in between to do a build. You have basically like scraps and leftovers. Now, I think that they made a choice this year to make this the kind of darker pay-per-view, to bring all of the more intense elements out in this pay-per-view, and kind of, not that they shied away from it in All In. I mean, the match between Mariah May and Toni Storm was extremely violent. I would have fit better here, quite honestly. The match that, we'll get into it later about the women's participation in this, but I honestly would have preferred to have seen, other than, I don't necessarily even know that it helped to have Mariah May and Toni Storm in England. They didn't really play that up very much. It was more, if Toni Storm was going to lose, she's not even English, she's Australian, and Mariah May wasn't really the hometown girl. All right, I'm really off on a tangent now, and what I really should be talking about is MJF versus Daniel Garcia. Now, I've heard some rumblings online that the original plan was for Daniel Garcia to win this match. But since his contract was still kind of up in the air, they had MJF win. And in the ending of the match, I was very disappointed by. Quite honestly, that was my main thing to say about this match, was at the ending, I want to see Daniel win. It's the same outcome that we had with Daniel versus Christian Cage at Revolution, where this whole build is set up, the underdog, he's finally going to get his shot, and then he loses. And there's no title on the line. There's nothing on the line here other than Daniel Garcia's dignity, which I don't really know if he, walks out the door with. He does, after the match, does make up for the match significantly, with Daniel being able to deliver the pile driver off of the turnbuckle that he was teasing the entire match. So, that was good to see. But I want to see Daniel get a win, and I'm not really going to be happy until I do. Until I see Daniel get a win, I don't think that I'm really going to like one of these pay-per-view showings from him. I like that he's on the pay-per-view. I'm a big fan of Daniel Garcia. I became even a bigger fan after I made a video on him. But I don't know if this was the star-making moment that it really should have been, much like his match that he had with Christian Cage. It should have been a bigger moment for Daniel. Beating MJF would have been a hell of a statement. The guy should have re-signed. You're only going to get one shot to beat MJF. And if a contract was standing between him and beating MJF, I don't know what Daniel's thinking. But it's all speculation. But, honestly, guys, if that is true, is Daniel really I'm going to bank that WWE is going to treat me better than AEW? Is it money? I don't think it's a money situation. AEW and WWE pay about the same, quite honestly. In fact, AEW has been shown to pay more. So I don't really get that idea. I don't even think that that's really what's going on. But if that's really what's going on, and Daniel gave up his opportunity to beat MJF clean in a match, well, then he's an idiot. But I doubt that that's the case. I doubt that's actually the case. I think it's more the case that no one's ever going to beat MJF ever, no matter what. Because MJF is single-handedly the most protected wrestler in all of AEW forever. I don't think anyone in AEW other than Jon Moxley, maybe, and not really anymore, Jon Moxley has lost plenty, has been more protected than MJF, and certainly MJF pre-contract re-sign, or post-contract re-sign. MJF at this point is basically invincible. So a loss to Daniel Garcia would have been really something, which is why I wanted it to happen. I think MJF power levels are actually way too high, and it's kind of, it's approaching like Super Cena mode where his matches are becoming less exciting because it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to win. Now, he's been written off of TV. I think there's some speculation that he's going to have a movie role or some crap like that. I don't know. Which brings us over to the Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio and Wheeler Yuta versus the Young Bucks. Which, I don't know. I think on paper you kind of know how this is going to go. And I doubted that, Claudio and Yuta actually had a shot here. So, not a very exciting match to watch, quite honestly, which is a shame with the Young Bucks. You would think that the Young Bucks match would, be more entertaining than this. However, it just kind of played out very straightforward wrestling match. I don't remember any amazing spots or moments in this. The Young Bucks just kind of take care of business and dispatch, Yuta and Claudio like the shoddy thrown together tag team that they are. That basically has no future to it. Now we do have a interesting thing happening on the upcoming Dynamite as I film this, where they're going to have a tag team casino battle royale match. Now, if Claudio and Yuta enter that and win that, I don't see that happening now, quite honestly. We're going to get to that, but the Blackpool Combat Club, a bomb basically got dropped on it in this pay-per-view, which I loved, by the way. I absolutely love what is going on with the Blackpool Combat Club. I think that's great. But because of what's going on with that, this almost seems like a bit of misdirection. This gets you to think that Claudio and Yuta are good guys. And, that's going to come out later. So I don't know. Maybe this match is just like a building block to what happens later. It definitely feels very kind of placeholdery, which is odd on an AEW pay-per-view. I don't expect matches that don't, really do anything to end up on a pay-per-view like that. My chat is speculating that the Motor City Machine Guns are going to show up at the Casino Royale. I think it's the Grizzled Young Veterans shot to win that. I've heard no rumblings about the Motor City Machine Guns. Last I heard, they were signed to WWE, but who knows? It's all speculation. I'd be happy to see them. I think they're a great team. All right, next up we have one of the matches of the night. This is definitely one of the better matches on this pay-per-view, which is Pac versus Will Ospreay. You knew on paper that this was going to, set the arena on fire and be a, classic match between great British high flyers. The story on commentary being that, Pac flew so that Ospreay was able to soar. He paved the way for wrestlers like Ospreay to do what they do on a grand stage. And it did not disappoint. Although, we kind of knew that Ospreay was going to win this. It doesn't really matter because it's a good match. I think everybody would have preferred to have seen Ospreay versus Ricochet, though I'm glad they didn't skip over Pac. I'm glad they didn't ignore Pac. I'm glad he got his shot. But definitely the match with more heat on it is Ospreay versus Ricochet. That's the one that we really want to see. This one we wanted to see until Ricochet got signed. So I'm not mad that we got it. I think it's great. I think these guys work really well together. Will there be a rematch? I think maybe in 2 years at Wembley, Pac might finally have his moment and win that Continental, belt back, which would be cool to see. But I don't foresee Will Ospreay losing that belt until he is ready to go take the world belt, the world title. He might even hold both of those belts at the same time for quite a long time. Who knows how that will go? But this was a great match, a very exciting match. I mean, I didn't have much feelings about it, but an excellent in-ring display, which is why you come to All Elite Wrestling. You know, it's where the best wrestle. This was very much an example of that. Nothing wrong with it. All right, this actually I thought was the most hardcore match of the night, which is crazy, right, guys, because of what happens in the main event. But honestly, Chris Statlander versus Willow Nightingale is not being talked about enough when it comes to levels of hardcore. I think the things that happened in this match were more honestly shocking to me, other than, some of the bits in the main event were a little more shocking than what goes on here. But there are some truly brutal spots that happen here that we have not seen before in All Elite Wrestling. You have your obligatory, table spots and whatnot, but some of the things that happen here with the amount of damage these two women put on each other is extraordinary. And some of the spots that go down with the thumbtacks are rather, innovative. Chris Statlander taking the bump on her crotch into the thumbtacks. I don't know if I've seen anything more genuinely uncomfortable than that. That looked honestly horrible. And light tubes, which I don't think we've seen in All Elite Wrestling other than maybe Nick Gage versus Jericho. You don't see light tubes a lot in All Elite Wrestling, and those are honestly extremely dangerous. I mean, it was a light tube that almost ended the life of David Arquette, delivered by one Nick Gage, by the way. Speaking of that criminal, former criminal, current criminal, I don't know. Yeah, we had chains being applied to each other's wrists. This was a truly graphic and horrendous match between two women. And maybe one of the best women's matches in All Elite Wrestling history. So very notable. I don't think this match is getting its credit. I thought it was a very, very good match. I love this promo between Ricochet and Will Ospreay. This was phenomenal. Got me really excited for the match between these two. The inevitable showdown. And I believe that brings us to the Casino Gauntlet match. Oh, no, this isn't a Casino Gauntlet match. I'm sorry. That was All In. That was a fantastic match. This is the four-way match for the... what do we even call this belt? I can't even remember what this belt is called. That's how important... It's Okada's belt. Eddie Kingston's belt that became Okada's belt that Okada will hold until he doesn't want to hold it anymore. I don't know what to say about this. I had no suspicions that Okada would not be the one to win this match. I don't know how that would happen. I don't know how Okada would lose the belt. It wouldn't make any sense to me. International title. Thank you, chat. Yes, the international title. Is it even? It's not the international title. No, this isn't the internet. You're wrong, chat. Go look it up and come back to me. You still don't know the name. The chat is baffled. Literally, go look it up, guys. Give me the actual name of the belt. I have no idea what the hell that belt's called. Doesn't matter. It's Okada's belt. And this match, I don't know, man. This is probably the worst match of the night, I think. Does anything happen in this match? I honestly can't I can barely remember it. This and the Young Bucks match kind of tied. Look, I hate to diss on any match where a guy gets busted open because clearly he's trying. It's not like the guys involved weren't trying to give the best match that they possibly could. It's just that I didn't really buy anyone beating Okada. I just didn't see that happening. That brings us to Mercedes Moné versus Shida. Moné versus Shida was a much better match than Moné versus Britt Baker. I think there was a rumor that this was going to be Britt Baker, but Britt Baker got pulled for some reason. I don't know why. I think we were fortunate that we got this instead because there was a real lack of chemistry between Moné and Britt Baker, it being kind of the worst match of the night. For All In, I'm glad we didn't have to endure a repeat of that. I think both women are very good on their own. Just together, not very exciting. Shida gave her all for this match. This was a fantastic match. Once again, this is a match where I could have seen Shida win. It's possible. It couldn't happen. It was a remote possibility in my mind. Not unthinkable. If Shida were to win this match, I would just have to assume that Moné would move on to the main women's title, which she would easily take from Mariah May. I think Mariah May could very well end up being a transitional women's champion. I don't see that being a long run for her, especially being so new to the company. If Mariah May has a year-long run, I will be floored. At any moment I see someone coming back and taking that belt, even if it's just Toni Storm reclaiming the belt. Which would be a great story to tell. So yeah, I mean, this match wasn't boring. This is a very good night for women's wrestling between the two women's wrestling matches. I think a higher average than All In. Much better showing for Moné. This is probably the best Moné match since she's joined All Elite Wrestling, which is good to see. Probably a credit to Shida being a very good partner for Moné. And good for Shida for getting another title shot on a pay-per-view. Always good to see Shida out there. She's been a long-time member of All Elite Wrestling, the women's roster. And she deserves every opportunity that she gets. And that brings us to Bryan Danielson versus Jack Perry. Which, I can't remember this. I know this match is very good, but the ending of this match will foreshadow this entire match. Once you see the ending of this match, the match itself is it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It is all about what happens at the end of this match. No one is going to remember this match, which, that's a bit of a problem for the ending. The ending of this match is something I was about to say it would have been better suited to TV, but no, it wouldn't. It would not be better suited to TV. This is something you can only do on a pay-per-view. Unbelievable, man. Look, I mean, Bryan Danielson has had many better matches than this. This might be one of the best Jack Perry matches, so that's a good thing. Was Jack Perry ever going to win this? Hell no. There was no thought in my mind that said Jack Perry could win this fight. I do appreciate how much Chicago will back Jack Perry. Chicago does not have hard feelings toward Jack Perry. I think the AEW audience is more sympathetic to Jack Perry than they are CM Punk, who basically no-showed on them last year. So a good match, an interesting match. I like Jack Perry's ability to adapt. I think Jack Perry does a great job working with anybody, so much that he'll even do their moves on them. I like Jack Perry going back to the snare trap, playing into submission wrestling, doing mat wrestling. Jack Perry could very well be one of, it's always been said that he's a pillar of AEW. And I think history is going to reflect that. The Young Bucks here being more interesting in this match than they were in their own match. Oh, I love Jack Perry's moment where he starts throwing up middle fingers for the yes chant. That was actually pretty clever. I enjoyed this quite a bit. A lot of great moments in this match. This is a match that might bear watching again and stopping before the ending just to kind of appreciate it. Because as soon as the ending goes down, I mean, your memory's going to be wiped. Like, who even cares? So the ending of the match, Luchasaurus comes out. Kill Switch comes out. And shades of Luchasaurus, shades of the Jurassic Express are, this is I think maybe one of the first times that these guys have been in a ring together since they broke up as a tag team. So some intrigue there. Christian Cage comes down. He's stopped by Jon Moxley. The Blackpool Combat Club is set up as heroes. Christian was going to come cash in. I guess Christian has what in effect is a Money in the Bank briefcase. It's never been clearly explained, but it looks like that's what's in his possession. And he was going to be very opportunistic. And the Blackpool Combat Club comes to Bryan Danielson's aid, seemingly until Bryan Danielson is knocked out by Claudio and then attacked by Jon Moxley, who puts a plastic bag on Bryan Danielson's head and attempts to try and choke the life out of him. Attempted murder in an All Elite Wrestling ring. It will never be forgotten, guys. This is one of the most memorable moments in All Elite Wrestling history. So say what you want about All Out 2024. It will contain an attempted murder. Maybe, honestly, 2 attempted murders. Murder was attempted twice in this pay-per-view, which is truly remarkable. I don't think we've ever had attempted murder in All Elite Wrestling, and we certainly haven't had it attempted twice in the same night by 2 different people. So unreal. And there's a lot of uproar about this. I'm not shocked by this at all. Like, as far as how violent it is or whatnot. I mean, this is All Elite Wrestling. This is what we do. This is our Outlaw Mud show, and we love it. Whatever, man. Jon Moxley needed this. Jon Moxley had become such a boring character in All Elite Wrestling with no dynamics, no character art, no changes since he came in. Directionless, meaningless, bland, and boring. A character turn for Jon Moxley was so needed, it's unreal. And thank God he's taking Claudio with him. Claudio and Moxley have turned to the dark side. Wheeler Yuta hangs in between. And they've aligned themselves against Bryan Danielson of all people. Oh, and they've brought Marina Shafir along for the ride. Thank God once again. Hopefully they'll do so well with this. They'll attract Ronda Rousey to the promotion. So I think this is phenomenal all around. Extra credit for Jon Moxley wearing the same outfit that Bryan Danielson wore when he debuted with the company years ago. So very cool. I'm into it. I'm not shocked by it at all. This doesn't make me want to clutch my pearls and get upset. And I love this. I think it's fantastic. I think this is the kind of stuff we need to be doing in this day and age. I think we need to bring back some of the danger to professional wrestling. I think professional wrestling being a very safe, boring thing to watch isn't what I'm interested in. I'm interested in, insanity and chaos and things that shouldn't be happening. And so I'm a big fan of this. I think it's great. Clearly, everyone involved is a big fan of this. Oh, I forgot he brought Pac along for this as well. So we have a whole new... this is the top heel faction now. These are our main bad guys of All Elite Wrestling. Our main good guy is Bryan Danielson. We've turned him full, hard babyface with this. And now Jon Moxley's the number 1 bad guy. He's established himself. Look, if you're going to write MJF and Swerve Strickland off TV, you're going to need someone to bring the actual danger and menace, and who better than Jon Moxley? I think it's a great idea. Look at it from a practical standpoint. We need someone truly evil in All Elite Wrestling. And speaking of true evil, we have another great bad guy in Hangman Adam Page, although I don't know who he's going to target now that he's basically removed Swerve from the equation. I wouldn't be surprised if Hangman actually needs to take some time off as well. No one's talked about that, but I don't know who's Hangman going after. other than Bryan Danielson, those guys do have great matches with each other. So if Hangman does want to take a run at Bryan Danielson, I think I would be very excited to see that. Insane Hangman going after Bryan Danielson. If you had Insane Moxley and Insane Hangman going after Bryan Danielson, I'm honestly afraid for Bryan Danielson's life IRL. So I think that's a pretty good circumstance to set up, quite honestly. I think that actually sounds like a great idea. We'll see how that plays out, though. So the other big talking point of the night is, of course, the steel cage match between Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. Everyone's saying this went too far. Honestly, guys, when I watched this match the first time, I literally fell asleep. I couldn't stay awake. Now, I work very hard at my channel and everything, and so that doesn't really say much about the match being boring, so much as me just being incredibly tired. However, I did not find this match to be anywhere near as riveting or violent as the Texas Death Match. Yes, some of the spots in this were a little more edgy and shocking, perhaps. But the Texas Death Match, for me, was a much more engaging and disturbing affair. Believe it or not. I don't know if you guys remember that thing. That's the one where Hangman drank Swerve's blood. All right? I mean, look. There's definitely some edgy stuff here, but like we've seen the staple gun like 3 times before, so it's kind of wearing off the shock of that. I did like the moment where Swerve was actually pulling the staples out of his own body and laughing. That was pretty awesome. Swerve has been playing up his like invincibility, which is why he basically had to be murdered for this match to end. When Swerve comes back, I'm honestly afraid for everybody on the roster. Basically, you have to kill Swerve to be able to beat him, which is what we are showing with this. The whole point of this match is that you have to do unthinkable things to Swerve to make him stop. Swerve is unstoppable. Some of me finding the match to be not as engaging. I think it is because it's in a steel cage. I think the steel cage gives unique problems to film. I don't think filming a match inside of a steel cage is a great thing to do. Cinematically, it's hard to get as many shots when everything has to be done from outside a cage. Now, I did notice, and you may have noticed too, they did have some of the cage cut away to allow for better, cleaner camera shots. But it's historically been very difficult to film steel cage matches. It's difficult for the audience to watch them. So that's a problem. Things tend to go a little better with the War Games, with the 2 matches in the bigger cage. They can do more cinematically with that look. But with the 1 ring covered by a steel cage, there's just like, it's like shooting in a car where there's only like really 2 angles that you can have. So that kind of adds to the monotony of the whole thing. I've got some comments here. Let me catch up on that before I talk more about this match. From Facebook. The needle spot was unnecessary. I guess we're going to talk about the end of the match. The needle spot was not unnecessary. It literally got everybody talking. In fact, it's the only thing that you've said to me. You wouldn't have even talked to me today unless they did a needle spot. So I think you've proven why it was totally necessary. It would have made more sense when he took Swerve's grill out. If he went for pliers and acted like he was going to take a tooth out, hey, maybe he'll do that next time. I mean, that's also a great idea. But I think the needle spot was extremely necessary because people haven't seen it before in All Elite Wrestling, and that's how it goes. My chat is speculating about people being pregnant. I'm a little behind here on the chat. I apologize for that. All right, I guess people like Bully Ray a week ago said... Guys, you're going to have to type these comments a little clearer so that I can actually read them. I'm trying to make a YouTube video here. My chat is basically illiterate. The outside should be painted black and leave the inside. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, different colors of steel cage? I don't know. So, all right, I'm going to go back to what I was doing, chat. I love you guys. Like, don't get me wrong. I love everybody that's here live, but you guys are basically incoherent. Okay, please clean that up. Bring me some real angles here to talk about. This match is hard enough to talk about. What am I going to say? What am I going to say about this? It's a steel cage match. It's lumbering. It was slow. The thing about these guys is you cut off so many of their moves by putting them in a fucking steel cage. Swerve is an amazing high flyer, fast as shit. He's jumping all over the goddamn place. His match with Ospreay was one of the most athletic matches I've ever seen, and you take all that shit away from him until you're just doing spots on fucking cinder blocks. Hangman Adam Page, also one of the most impressive big men that can do high flyer moves. You've taken away half of his goddamn repertoire. So yeah, they're bumping each other off a cinder block, which has got to be the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Look, the cinder block, you're talking about the syringe? Guy, the syringe is nothing. The syringe, whatever, that's a geek show trick. No one got hurt. I don't even know if it's painful, dude. Once you're all keyed up and with adrenaline and whatnot, that is a commonplace trick that circus performers have been doing for 100 years. Literally, needle through the cheek is like the most basic geek trick that there's ever been. It's not a big deal. The cinder block? Fuck you, dude. That's horrible. I'm surprised one of these guys didn't paralyze each other with that crap. Clearly awful and painful and needless and pointless. Needlessly putting their careers at jeopardy. Honestly, I didn't expect to get that mad about it until now. You guys are going to get upset about a damn syringe? What about the cinder block, dude? The syringe isn't going to end anyone's career. The cinder block could literally paralyze you from the waist down. Holy shit. Thank God the first time I watched this, I was literally sleeping through the cinder block bit. But the second time I watched it and I watched all the cinder block bumps, I was like, Jesus Christ, guys. Like, who are you impressing? Why? Why would you do this? Like, could you not? There are safer ways to mess around with the cinder block. They chose the most dangerous spots possible. All the stuff Swerve has done with cinder blocks before this match has been absolutely fine. But this match, for some reason, we just decided to get nuts with the cinder block and try to cripple each other. So I don't know about that. Chad is saying the Big Show was shot with a needle out of a gun. No one cared. It just doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. The needle isn't a big deal. Everyone acting like the syringe was a big deal. It's not. Chat thinks it's a gimmick cinder block. How the fuck do you gimmick a cinder block? Hold on, we have an expert here, Grapple Vision. Can you fucking gimmick a cinder block? Because the way Hangman went down on that, you can see his back. That's a real cinder block. Like, I don't know how fake is it. It's not rubber. It literally left cinder block marks on Hangman's back. That looked real as hell. That looked shockingly, alarmingly, terrifyingly real. I don't know how you would gimmick that. The chair was gimmicked. I didn't give a shit about the chair. The chair shot was nothing. Everyone's all worked up about the chair. Who gives a crap? It's a gimmick chair. Yeah, it sucks, but like, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. The cinder block, honestly, this is the first time I've ever actually been triggered by something in All Elite Wrestling. Like, and it's happening right now. I didn't care when I was watching it too much, but if I have to explain it to you and think about it and engage my brain, I'm like, yeah, you know what? That was actually stupid. If we're going to complain about anything here, we need to complain about this goddamn cinder block. I think it could have been a giant piece of rubber, maybe. I don't know, man. It's the way that it scraped up Hangman's back, like it's like real, like that. I've you've always scraped your knee on concrete. That's exactly what it looks like. I don't know. I hope to God it was rubber. I mean, if it was rubber, then it's genius. If it's real, then they're fucking idiots. So I don't know. But my expert says you can gimmick anything. I mean, I hope it was gimmicked. Wait, I have another expert on Instagram that says it was a real cinder block, boys and girls. They're also verifying my other expert on Instagram, the remarkable Kellen Craven. Says they do needle spots every single death match. It's not that bad. It's just shocking. Absolutely, yeah. Like, literally, and I'm really thinking about this. I would let you do the needle spot on me. I would let you do it on me. If I was going to be in an All Elite Wrestling ring and it was with someone that I admired or trusted, maybe a little bit of both, and if it was going to further my career, which it probably would, to be in an All Elite Wrestling ring, it would do amazing things for my channel and my life, right? It really would. I would let you do the, and I'm untrained, like I'm an idiot. But I wouldn't worry about it. It wouldn't really keep me up. I'd be like, yeah, that's going to suck, but I'm going to live. It's not like I'm going to die from that. It's not even a risk. I basically let my dentist do it to me. I literally, last time I was at the dentist, let him put a much bigger needle into my gums. I didn't even feel it. So yeah, I'm not worried about that. The cinder block? No. Not unless it's truly gimmicked to the point where it wouldn't hurt me at all, which it didn't look to be that damn gimmicked. No, I'm not going to risk being paralyzed as an untrained wrestler. As an untrained professional, I would let you stick the needle through my cheek because, like, what the hell? You only live once. I'm not going to get in an AEW ring any other way. Here's me telling you, Mr. Hartgrave, if you need All Elite Wrestling, if you need someone to stick a needle through his cheek, I'm your dude. I'll go for it. Let's go, Hangman. I don't mind. Not a big deal. I'm sure they practiced on the block. Okay, chat, you need to calm down, guys. All right, all non-wrestlers and unprofessionals need to calm down with this practice stuff. Ain't nobody practicing these things. No one practices dangerous spots in wrestling. Can my professionals agree to this? Can you please educate these people? If you're going to jump off the top of something, if you're going to go through something, there's no practicing. It's done once. In my research, it's done once. You don't do those things multiple times. There's a camera rolling. It looked fine. It looked horrible. The cinder block spots looked horrible. If that was a gimmicked, yes, chat's confirming we don't practice those things. That's why they're so terrifying. When someone jumps off the top of the cage, there's no practice. You don't have no idea if you can do it or not. You've seen other guys do it. You don't know how you're going to do it. That's how Adam Copeland broke his damn leg. He'd never done it before. There's no practice. It's one take. Up to the top of the cage, jump off. What's there to know? What's there to practice? Breaking your leg? Can't do it. Choke slammed or needle. Wait, you guys are upping the ante? Me taking a needle to the cheek isn't enough? Now I got to take a choke slam? Look, non-professionals deliver choke slams. They don't take them. I would actually rather take a needle through the cheek than be choke slammed. Literally, I would rather take a needle through the cheek than a wrestling move. A wrestling move can kill you. A needle through the cheek literally can't kill you. There's no way to die from a needle through the cheek. I guess unless it's not, you know why it's a syringe? Because it's sterile. Assumedly, that was the best thing about the needle spot is it was a brand new needle with a cap on it. It's entirely sterile. I'm more worried about these guys taking bumps off of thumbtacks and glass, which came from God knows where and have God knows what on them. The needle was probably the safest thing All Elite Wrestling's ever done. It's freaking sterile. Do you guys understand microbes? Like, do we have any doctors in the house here that can explain why it's better to have a needle stuck in you, a sterile hypodermic needle stuck in you, fresh, non-used needle stuck in you, than some random goddamn thumbtacks? All day I would take the sterile needle and not the goddamn weird thumbtacks that came from the Dollar Tree. Okay? All day. All day. I would take the needle to the cheek over the Dollar Tree thumbtacks any day. God knows what's on the Dollar Tree thumbtacks that have been sitting in a bag underneath the ring. Holy crap. That's crazy, guys. People need to calm down about the needle. That was like a great spot. We should have more needles. More needles, less thumbtacks. I've got a new stance, okay? Vote for me for president of All Elite Wrestling. I'll bring you more needles and less thumbtacks. Chat says, the problem with wrestling fans, there are so many going that'll get worked up about skin deep damage, but will ignore watching guys get dumped on their head. And they'll praise, wrestling moves that are far more dangerous than, a geek spot, a circus geek spot. If it's going to hurt really bad, a wrestler's only going to do it once. Okay, they might practice a big jump onto a crash pad though, right? I guess I've seen wrestlers do things definitely onto crash pads. So yeah, if you're going to go off the top, you're going to land on you're not going to land on the guy through a table. You're not going to practice that part. But you might throw down a crash pad just so that you can get the height, stand up there, feel it. Though maybe not. I know there's plenty of stories of wrestlers the first time they've been on the top of the cage is the time you've seen them go to the top of the cage. It looks shocking. I mean, yeah, it looks shocking guys, some people with this needle thing, I got to get to the needle spot because we can't get over it. Have never seen like the Jim Rose Circus Sideshow. Did you not live through the 90s like I did, guys? This must be kids. This literally must be... look at this goddamn cinder block. This is horrible. I can't really see it here. I don't know, man. I got one expert that says maybe a gimmick. I got one expert that says maybe definitely real. It doesn't look like there's give there. It's just such a bad bump. I don't know. I'd say there's a more dangerous way to do it. Maybe my experts can back me up here, but a more dangerous way to take this bump would be as if it was on the outside. I think the only thing making this cinder block bump not the most horrendous thing on the planet is that it's happening inside the ring where there's some bounce. Whereas if you did this outside, it's like guaranteed paralysis, right? If it's let's assume the block is real. That sounds awful. Yeah, piercing is something that kids do. Slams are like car wrecks. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it there, chat. All right, so jury's really out on this. I'm assuming it's a real cinder block just from the way Hangman's back reacted to it. If you watch it back and watch Hangman's back, that's a concrete scrape. I don't know how you can fake a concrete scrape because it has all like the micro scraping. It would be if it is rubber, it's so close to concrete that it doesn't even matter. My thoughts are still the same. If it is gimmicked, It's so goddamn close to concrete that it may as well be concrete. It's the hardest goddamn rubber that's ever been made. The only worry is the angle you hit the block at. Do you know what you're saying, Rain Dragon? Hold on, experts, weigh in on the concrete, please. Am I accurate with this concrete bump? This is unnecessary and potentially like career ending. Am I wrong? I mean, calm me down if you can. I would love to be calm. I would love to go, oh, I was wrong. I would love to say that. This looks honestly very stupid. And when you say, like, it's the angle that you hit the block at, do you understand all the variables? Like, that's nuts. I mean, Hangman didn't hit the block right. Hangman went down in a way that was not planned. I think he meant to hit the block, and he missed the block, and it fucked his back all up. Like, I don't think he went down on that block the way he was supposed to go down on that block. Because you can't control it, guys. These guys are sweaty, slippery, tired, bloody, beaten. Like, yeah, sure. I'm sure there's a good way to hit that cinder block and a bad way, but it's like flip a damn coin. At best, a 50-50 chance you might paralyze yourself. Hangman and Swerve took some unnecessary chances with what is probably a real cinder block. For what damn reason? That's my thing. For what damn reason? No one even remembers it because you have a needle spot, you have a guy with a plastic bag on his head, and you have an unprotected chair shot. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you have all these things that are already popping the news cycle, why do you got to do a bunch of crazy shit with the cinder block? Right? I usually defend this stuff. I am usually the first guy out here, and I'm defending all the other stuff. I'll defend the plastic bag, the needle through the cheek, the unprotected chair shot. That's all great. That's fine. Hell, I'd like to see it on every pay-per-view. I think it's fantastic. The goddamn cinder block? I'm not a fan. I don't like people potentially being paralyzed. Call me crazy. That goes a little too far for me. Not that I'm going to stop watching if it comes out again. I'm not like deranged about this. I'm just saying as a fan, I'm like, guys, you could skip the cinder block. Okay. You're doing enough. I mean, you've set people on fire. You've broken people's limbs. You've set up 4 tables and gone through them. I mean, you do all this other crazy crap. Do we really need to do something so clearly a career ending? I would like them to stay away from things that might end careers. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, my expert on Instagram is saying they trusted each other, but literally, if Hangman slips even a little, Swerve is dead or paralyzed. Angles don't mean anything. It's a damn block. And that's what it seems to be. Like literally, if you downplay the dangerous nature of this, you would encourage them to do it again or God forbid someone else. I mean, I can't believe they aired this without at least a disclaimer at the start of the show saying like, hey kids, don't try this at home. Like you would get on every episode of Jackass, which is basically what we're watching now, which is great. I'm a fan of Jackass. I like the show Jackass. But really, the cinder block stuff, honestly, a bit far. Wait, we're saying that the back was gigged? Are you saying that? No one thought that Hangman's back was gigged. That's not true. I guess it could be rigged up rubber that would scrape you up. I don't know, man. I don't know. As long as you land flat on a flat surface, you are good. Okay. And that's my expert talking. So am I overreacting a bit to the cinder block? Chat. I have. Instagram says I'm not reacting, and YouTube says I might be reacting a touch. Is that what I'm getting? The visual is very painful looking, but if it's flat landing, he is safe. Okay. The safest way to take a cinder block spot, tuck your chin. I know well, Hangman hit the edge. Chat, like, are you forgetting that, yes, Swerve here in this picture landed flat. Hangman literally hit the edge. I don't think the risk is minimal. I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's less dangerous than a light tube. I don't know. Light tubes are nothing to mess with either. And light tubes only really get dangerous in the hands of Nick Gage when he's jamming it into your neck against your will. Light tubes are really the most dangerous when jammed against your neck by Nick Gage. That's when they get fatal. The trick of the bump is just landing flat. With something that's small, I think the risk is too much for little payoff. Okay, thank you. So maybe my outrage is more sustainable from both YouTube and Instagram experts. It's pointless. It's risky. They did it safely, but it sucked. And we were already there. Like if you're doing a bag over the head, a needle, and unprotected chair shot, why do we got to mess around with the cinder block? Like, what are we trying to prove, guys? I guess it's a storytelling element. Swerve, it's really important for Swerve to work a cinder block into his matches because that's part of his story. Jesus. Oops. Well, I mean, look, when you're talking about a cinder block being broken over someone's head, that is probably a rigged cinder block. I don't know about this. Light tubes have cancerous chemicals in them, but other than that, not that bad. Yeah, I think overuse of light tubes is pretty crazy. Like those deathmatch guys, being around broken light tubes like 24/7 is probably really not good for your health. They could have made it count a little more. I agree with that. Like if you're going to do the cinder block, like that's the finish. Like, I think either you do a cinder block, like this move that Swerve took, how does he keep going? I don't know. Look, I don't want to harp on it too much because I'm really not that guy. I really don't care. Like, if this is what these guys want to do and nobody got injured, from what I hear, Swerve was fine. His back wasn't an issue. I honestly see the point. It wasn't showcased enough. All right, maybe my problem with the cinder block is it wasn't showcased enough. I mean, here's a good shot of the cinder block. I mean, it's a pretty good image, and it doesn't really look real. But I don't know. I didn't touch it. It looks a little bent. It might be rubber. Might be a rubber block. Maybe it's a real top and then rubber underneath. I don't know, man. I know it scraped up Hangman's back and looked pretty legit that way. Look, if it's gimmicked, they did a great job. If that's a gimmick cinder block, then they did enough of a job that it triggered me and I don't get triggered. Yeah, syringe, dude, I don't care. Gimmicked chair shot, I don't care. So maybe they did the cinder block just to trigger guys like me who have seen it all, right? I've seen it all and you can't shock me. Put a syringe in his mouth, I don't care. Hit him with the chair, I don't care. Cinder block? Oh my God, right? And that's the whole point. Maybe that's the whole point. Oh my God. Okay. Thanks. Instagram is telling me Kellen Craven, the wrestler, went to did a wrestling match in a parts unknown shirt. I'm excited. Footage pending, guys. So stay tuned for that. I'm excited to see it. Thank you for going out in that. I'm that'll be something else. My kids might even respect me that day. Or not. I don't know how that'll go. Oh, I like that angle, chat. Like, yeah, if it's going to be a cinder block, is it a cinder block from the burned down house? Yeah, make it a cornerstone of the house they burned down. I like that. It could have meant more to me that way. It would have made more sense. It doesn't look real. It doesn't look real. And I do like the element where they had the bit of the burned house that they were trying to jam into each other's face. I thought that was pretty great. I mean, look, it was a good match. I don't know what they're going to do next time. I don't know where you go from here. I don't know if I even want to see them try to top it. I know they're going to try, though. I mean, I think these guys are headed towards an exploding barbed wire death match. Wouldn't you say? Maybe these guys need to go to the exploding barbed wire death match. Maybe something of those lines. Usually the steel cage is the end of things, but I don't think this is going to be the end of things for them. I just really think that they're going to keep going. So those are my thoughts on All Out 2024. Overall, a good pay-per-view, but not my favorite pay-per-view of the year. Maybe, honestly, my least favorite AEW pay-per-view of the whole year. My favorite match would probably be Hangman versus Swerve. Hands down, I think. That's my favorite match. My favorite moment is the Blackpool Combat Club putting the plastic bag over Bryan Danielson's head. I thought that was a great storytelling moment for them. I like storytelling moments, and I like Moxley having one. I think it's about damn time. And yeah, I'm all for Swerve and Hangman going for the exploding barbed wire death match as well. I think it's a phenomenal idea. Give it another shot. Get it right this time. Blow them up for reals. I mean, these guys will take bumps on cinder blocks. They'll do anything. All right, if you missed it, if you've come this far and you would like to see more Mr. Hartgrave, make sure you check out the rest of the channel. In fact, I got a couple videos that did not get the views. So I got a video here on Tony Storm, a video on Brian Keith, a video on Grizzled Young Veterans, and a video on Kyle O'Reilly that YouTube probably did not show to you. So if you missed any of those videos or all four of them, make sure you check them out right now. And keep digging. All right, everybody. I'm out. That was the end of the review video. I don't know what this is, like extra before I turn the thing off. But thanks for being here live. It's good to see all of you. All my favorite people are on chat. I'm sorry if I was a little surly. Hey, even a Violet Mind is here. Good to see you. Oh, I'm glad you liked the Grizzled Young Veterans video. I thought that was a pretty good one. Actually, I didn't think that was a good one. I'm glad you think that was a good one because I was down on it. I'm like, I don't know if this is any good. But I'm glad you like it. I let myself get worked up by a cinder block. By a fake cinder block. Do these guys ever feel that way when they're done? Like, why did I get so worked up about something so stupid? I couldn't imagine getting worked up about the stupid needle. That's so stupid. Oh my God, he was stuck with a sterile needle. With a completely sanitized and safe needle. He was stuck with a needle. Oh no. This is so hardcore. It wasn't a dirty needle from like a dumpster. Oh my God. Dude, if it was like a dirty hypodermic, like used with like blood in it, good Lord. Then I would freak out. Like a sterile needle. Oh no. This is horrible. Something got done to him that literally happens 1,000 times a day in my state. 10,000 times in the world today, someone has been stuck with a sterile needle. Oh no! The humanity! JR sounded mad about the bag spot. I don't know why, because I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but Bryan Danielson totally punctured an air hole in that bag. Right? Am I the only one that noticed that Bryan Danielson made a little air hole and then covered the air hole and then breathed through the fucking air hole? Right? Am I the only one that noticed that? He did that, right, guys? Or he was ready to. I don't know if he actually ripped a hole in the bag and was breathing, or if he was just fucking ready to. But he was at no time going to die. He was at no time going to die. JR did sound mad on commentary, but I think that's just JR. I think JR turns off his brain when he's on commentary, and that's why he's good at it. I don't think he's thinking. Mark Henry and Bully Ray were unbearable. I imagine they were. Yeah, it's an act. That's 100% an act. If they did an exploding barbed wire death match, where could they do it? I mean, I think you're right. Grapple Vision, we were talking about this, and you said that it would be best for them to do it outdoors. So I think they should do it at Daly's place in the stadium, where they have total, control. They own it, right? The Jaguars field or whatever. They got all the space. Nope, no fans. I mean, they missed their chance. They should have done it for the pandemic or whatever. I believe it. I mean, look, he had his hands like right over his mouth and he was like bunching up the bag. So either he was ready, like I was watching, I'm like, is he actually, he's not gonna, I'm like, this is not dangerous. What? I would do the bag spot. Not only would I let you stick the needle through my cheek, I would do the bag spot. I would need to trust the guy. And you know that Bryan Danielson and Moxley got trust. If I had the trust, which I don't know any of these guys. Like, I'd let my wife do it, right? If my wife wanted to put the plastic bag over my head and pretend like she's offing me in the ring, I'd be like, yeah, all right. I know you're not going to off me. Oh, Bryan Danielson literally choked an announcer. I remember something about that. I wasn't around at that time. I wasn't watching. Kyle O'Reilly gives himself a needle every day. Thank you. That's a good point. Exploding ring in Japan. I mean, that would be a good place to do it too. Then you can get Onita involved, right? I mean, you can fly him out too, but work with Onita, do it in Japan for their... Oh, yeah, because they have the big thing coming up with AEW in Japan. Yeah, do it, man. Hey, thanks for dropping in from Brazil. Always cool to see international people. Then you don't have to sweat all the rules. Yeah, do it someplace where they've already done it and where they already... That's a great idea. I mean, yeah, it looked great. It shocked people. I mean, I liked the bag spot. Awesome. And honestly, I mean, yeah, if the cinder block is rigged, I think I said that. Like, if the cinder block is rigged, then brilliant. Amazing. Because it looked real as shit. The cinder block, actually, if you're going to do a fake cinder block and bump on it, doing it in the steel cage is great because it's hard to see. It's perfect. The cinder block, my lizard brain said that's a real cinder block. Oh my God, I'm freaking out. And therefore, that's why you do it. It's genius. If it's a real cinder block, then those guys are fucking assholes. That's not smart. So I've got two opinions on that cinder block. Who knows if I'll ever find out how I truly feel about it, but it doesn't really matter how I feel about it. I'm not part of AEW Creative. For better or for worse. Probably for better. I don't need to know these things. I'm glad that I don't think they're going to make a habit of it. I don't think every pay-per-view is going to involve a cinder block. We probably won't see it again for another year or two. Because no one cared. I think we'll probably see needles and plastic bags again before we see cinder blocks. That needle popped the internet, man. That plastic bag popped the internet. That's why they did it. It was awesome. Everybody was talking about All Elite Wrestling. It was great. I got one opinion on real cinder blocks and I got a different opinion on fake ones. Absolutely. My bases are covered. I guess the cinder block has been set up so well. Because every other time Swerve has used a cinder block, it's been a real cinder block and we've seen it break. Right? So when he pulls out the fake one, it's a magician's trick, right? Real one, real one, real one, fake one. And then your brain says this is real every time it's been real, so it's probably real, and they could fake you out. I can't play the clip. Yeah, I get copyright destroyed if I played the clip, so I can't play the clip. I don't think they put it on the internet either. Someone needs to do a montage of the cinder block, yeah. All right, everybody. I got to get going. I got to go. I don't know. Hey, Rain Dragon, did you see they just announced Orange Cassidy's going to be at Pandora's Box? I got to go talk to my family and see if they want to go meet Orange Cassidy. I don't know if I should talk to those guys about doing something extra with Orange Cassidy. They got a little weird on me last time. I don't know. I don't know if you wanted to ask them. You're the one who actually pulled it off. I didn't do shit. I think I just made things worse. Like I might send a message over to the guy and be like, "Hey, I'm going to come down there," but I'm not going to ask. I think I tweaked him out. I got very forward. All right, yeah, if you want to ask. Yeah, if you want to ask Rain Dragon, go ahead. That's cool. I think it's better if you ask. Because I think you talk to a different guy. I talk to the one guy, you talk to the other guy. And I like those guys. But I don't want to like. It's November. It's coming up in November. I think like November 12th or something. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't want to work with me because it's money. It's not like they're fucking doing me a goddamn favor. I mean, they're doing me a favor, but they're also like, you know, it's not that much of a goddamn favor. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? But yeah, may as well ask, I guess. We'll take no for an answer. If they say no, then we will just take no for an answer. I won't press. I got into trouble because I pressed. I don't think I really got into trouble. You know, I think I talked my way out of it, but They did not have a good, they were on they were on much better terms with Danhausen. I think that's the best way to say it. They were on really good terms with Danhausen, and he was like super easy to work with. Not so much with everybody. And I wasn't really getting that. Mutually beneficial. Yes, that's the idea. It's a mutually beneficial situation. And I honestly don't even know what I would do with Orange Cassidy. I mean, I guess just bump, parts unknown and stuff. Like, I don't even know if it would be as much as I'd want to do with Danhausen. I mean, Orange Cassidy's easygoing. It's about his management. Orange Cassidy can be whatever way. It's more about who his manager is. I think Darby was great. I think if I would have just asked Darby on the spot, if I would have just been like, Darby, can you come over here and film a bunch of stuff? I think he just would have. I don't like to do things like that. That doesn't seem very professional to me. Like, I'm going up for like a signing in a photo. Like, who the hell am I to be like, oh, let's bring you over here and do a bunch of weird stuff. I did hear the news about All Elite Wrestling going to Fox. Oh, somebody had an update on the Lucha Brothers. What's the update on the Lucha Brothers? I never saw that follow up. I think AEW on Fox sounds phenomenal, though. That's great. WWE leaves and AEW swoops in. Sounds good. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the value add is on my end. Like, I mean, you should let the Pandora's... I mean, maybe a good thing to tell the Pandora's Box guys to kind of, like, make this real for them is let them know that, like, their shop is featured in every single one of my videos. Like, whenever I run that Danhausen spot, maybe take one of these that's got the most views on it that has the Danhausen video in it and be like, your damn shop is being shown to, like, thousands of people. When you work with me, your shop is, and I can put your link, like, if you guys, I don't think they do any kind of online sales, but if they ever want to do online sales, your damn shop can be advertised to thousands of people. And then God knows if anything ever actually works for me. It's not a horrible thing to work with Mr. Hartgrave. So maybe, I don't know what the right way to say that is. But like, holy crap. Yeah, like, I don't know, man. Because, like, I think it's pretty good. Hey, Scarlet Spider Comics knows the power of advertising with Mr. Hartgrave, right? How long do I think the Young Bucks will hold the tag titles? Forever. I don't know. They might lose them at Grand Slam. Depends on who comes into that tag tournament. I don't know who's going to unseat the Young Bucks, but it could happen soon because they don't really seem to have much steam behind them anymore. They're not on TV a lot. They've kind of dropped the angle. They're not really feuding with anybody. I don't know what they're doing. They're not the main bad guys of AEW anymore. As soon as they did Anarchy in the Arena, they were kind of done. Or the Blood and Guts. Blood and Guts was it. They lost Blood and Guts, and that's it. End of the angle. And it kind of died with Anarchy in the Arena. Even though they won that, they didn't keep going. They kind of stopped. And then they did Blood and Guts, and then that was kind of it. Kind of a done angle. Which is sad, because I was really enjoying it, but I don't know. All right, guys, I keep saying I'm going to go, but you guys keep being friendly, so I don't know what to do about that. But I really should go. Maybe they're waiting for Kenny to come back. Maybe they've got a big plan with that. Maybe. I don't know. They involved themselves in the Danielson match. And Moxley did align himself with them. But I really feel like the heat's being taken off the Young Bucks and being put on Moxley. I kind of feel like all the heat in the company is, he attempted murder. The Young Bucks never kind of only attempted murder. They kind of almost killed Darby. Darby could have died. They didn't really hardcore try to kill Darby. I mean, they would have needed to have put a plastic bag on his head and then kicked him in the face. Yeah, Kenny Omega is a big part of the EVP thing, though. That angle had the most heat when Kenny Omega came back and was like, yo, I'm an EVP too, bitch. That was pretty cool. But yeah, that unfortunately... get well soon, Kenny. All right, everybody. If you've missed any of these videos, make sure you go check them out. I'm going to go work out... I'm going to go see how much my family likes Orange Cassidy. I'm going to be ambitious. I got this big 4-pack. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I'd show it to you, but I've literally never taken it out of the box. Should I take it out of the box? I'm only taking it out of the box if I'm going to go see Orange Cassidy. But I've got this big... well, I can show you the box. Yeah, if I go meet Orange Cassidy, the thing I'd have him sign, I'd take it out. But this is the Amazon exclusive AEW 4 Champions pack. And Orange Cassidy's one of the 4 champions. The other 3 are Thunder Rosa, MJF, and Wardlow. So I'd get him to sign, and then the goal would be to get the other 3 people to sign. It would take some time. But I think it's doable. I mean, MJF is a East Coast guy. Thunder Rosa literally stopped into Pandora's box, so she'll probably do a signing there. And Wardlow has done a signing at Pandora's box, so I could complete that. I could complete that mission. But I gotta see if the family wants to do it. Kids like Orange Cassidy. I'll probably be there. All right, everybody.